Hello, I'm Erik Robey.
And I'm Karla Schaffer, and this is Anne Arundel County Week in Review. On this week's show, we'll talk with one of our newest county councilmen, and we'll also tell you about life-saving classes available for the summer. Making headlines this week, we celebrate another Earth Day today, and the community really came out to show its support for behavior and programs that help the environment. Anne Arundel County has a lot of ecologically friendly programs, such as our residential and business recycling and our state-of-the-art wastewater treatment technology, and another's on the way. The public is invited to attend an event on Tuesday, April 26th, where we will unveil the first and largest solar array built in the state by a local government. The panels are installed on the roof of Central Services Garage in Millersville. What used to be a barren roof now looks like something out of the movie Tron, Erik. County Executive Leopold said of the project, "This project is beneficial to the environment because it reduces our reliance on fossil fuels, but also because it will save the county money on electricity bills. With the help of federal stimulus funds, the project allows Constellation Energy to pull electricity off of the solar array and sell the county electricity at a reduced rate. The 3,000 panels generate about 900,000 kilowatt hours of electricity each year. Central Services officials estimate the project could save taxpayers about $100,000 each year. To find out more about the ribbon-cutting ceremony, call 410-222-7644.
Well, a familiar face in Anne Arundel County government will be retiring at the end of this year. Judy Holmes, who has served the public for 42 years, yes, 42 years, is leaving her position as the administrator of the county council. Holmes not only runs the administrative operations of the council, but she also keeps the records of proceedings. If you're like me, watch the meetings regularly, Holmes's voice is the one you hear calling out the title of the legislation and doing the roll call for the votes. Effective July 1st, a new person will be the voice of the county council, and that'll be Beth Jones, a former aide to Councilman Ron Dillon. She'll take that important seat on the 1st of July. On behalf of everyone here at Week in Review and in Anne Arundel County, and of course County Executive Leopold, I want to thank Judy Holmes for her years of service. She will certainly be missed in Anne Arundel County.
In this week's Hot Topics, the Anne Arundel County Fire Department responded to 1,371 calls for service. This included more than 1,025 emergency medical calls and 131 fire calls. One incident sent a dark cloud of smoke through the Glen Burnie skyline that could be seen for miles, and an accident in South County closed a major roadway. With us now to tell us more about these incidents is Division Chief Michael Cox of the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. Chief?
Thanks, Karla. On Friday, April 15, 2011, around 10:54 a.m., Anne Arundel County firefighters responded to a reported apartment fire in the area of Cromwell Fountain Road and Rapid Water Way in the Glen Burnie area of the county. The first unit to arrive on the scene reported fire coming from a third-floor balcony and roof area of a three-story garden-type apartment condo. At this time, an interior fire attack was initiated and additional resources were requested. Firefighters operating at the scene ultimately employed elevated master streams from aerial ladder trucks on the scene to extinguish the blaze. In all, it took more than 72 firefighters from Anne Arundel County, Baltimore City, and the Baltimore-Washington Airport Fire Department more than 2 hours to bring the three-alarm incident under control. There were some occupants of the building home at the time of the fire, however they did escape safely. The fire, which originated on the interior of the building, caused an estimated $500,000 in damages. The exact cause of the fire still remains under investigation. In another incident, a two-car collision has left a South County community in shock after a serious accident on Saturday when Anne Arundel County firefighters responded to a report of a motor vehicle collision on westbound Central Avenue near the community of Selby on the Bay in Edgewater. The first unit to arrive on the scene reported a two-car accident with entrapment. There was one patient as a result of the incident. The patient, a male who was estimated to be in his late 30s or early 40s, suffered fatal injuries as a result of the incident and was pronounced dead at the scene. Karla?
Thanks, Chief. County fire officials said 11 families were displaced as a result of the Glen Burnie fire. The Red Cross was assisting many who were displaced, while other occupants were being assisted by family and friends in the area. County law enforcement officials said the cause of the fatal accident was driver error, speed, and weather conditions at the time of the accident.
In this week's Community Spotlight, our own Jody Letty speaks with Tim Reyburn from the Russett Community Association about happenings in the far west area of our county. Jody.
Hi, I'm Jody Letty here on this beautiful day with Mr. Tim Reyburn, my good friend, leader in the Russett community. And today we're going to talk about an event that he has coming up, environmental Green Day event coming up in the Russett community. And also, I'd like you to tell me just more about the Russett community, what it's comprised of, the amenities of living in Russett. Russett's in Laurel, by the way. So,
Right.
Tim, thanks for being here with me today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm happy to be here. Russet is one of the largest HOAs, I think, in the state of Maryland. We're a 610-acre site with 3,800 dwellings. We have about 2,698 homes under the auspices of the HOA, a $2.5 million a year budget. We have 7 board members. We have 22 neighborhoods. We have probably a volunteer core of about 100 that are consistently involved in the internal affairs. There's 10 advisory committees to the board, there's a 7-member board of directors, and then there's the 22 distinct neighborhoods within the community. In addition to that, we have a commercial membership, which is the Walmart, Sam's, Wendy's, and they all pay assessments to the community association to cover the landscaping. So it's an amazing place. It's a planned unit development. There's lots of green space, lots of hiker-biker trails. We have 20 miles of hiker-biker trails, 4 swimming pools. We have 8 tennis courts, 12 tot lots, and it's just it's a very pedestrian-friendly community, and it's a very handicap-friendly community.
Great. So now you said there's apartments and single-family homes.
Apartments, we have about 1,000 apartment units.
Okay.
We have 12 neighborhoods are townhomes, 6 neighborhoods are single-family neighborhoods, and there are 3 different apartment owners and on 4 separate campuses. We have 1 apartment owner that has 2 separate campuses. So that adds up to a total of about 3,800 dwellings.
Awesome. You have a library too, right?
We have a public library. It's a beautiful library. We're really happy to have the county library in the community. It's a wonderful site. I think it's actually a FEMA emergency evacuation site too, but yeah.
And Russett's right off of what? What's the main road that Russett's off of?
Russet, we're in the westernmost part of Anne Arundel County off of 198 and the BW Parkway.
Okay.
Just before you cross the county line into PG County.
Okay. Obviously, I've been there for events with you, but I always use my GPS, so I'm not sure exactly where it is. So tell me about your Green Day event coming up.
Oh, Green Day. This is our 3rd annual Green Day event. This is a product of our Green Committee, which I chair. And aside from being the president on the board of directors, and it's one of my favorite committees because we're implementing, smart living, environmental awareness, the types of foods you eat. What can you do as an HOA homeowner to maintain your lawn that's environmentally friendly and protects the bay? A lot of these HOAs, do inspections every year, and people respond to that, and we see people drop 20 pounds of chemicals on their lawn to try to fix their lawn with an instant response, but all that ends up washing in the bay. So we do educational classes. The Green Day is going to have vendors talking about solar, photovoltaics, food, rain barrels. County recycling will be there. It's an educational opportunity, and it's a marketing opportunity for Russet to show the greater community that we are thinking about these sort of things as an HOA. It's the 3rd annual event, and we're really proud of it.
Yep. And I got to work at it last year. I think it was the first time I met you.
That's
at
right.
the event last year. And that was when I worked for the recycling division. The recycling division of Anne Arundel County will be there again this year, handing out recycling containers and compost bins. Also, you were talking about the benefits of solar, and it's important to have stormwater management, erosion control, things like that. There are property tax credits if you implement solar initiatives on your home and certain stormwater management and erosion control.
Correct.
I wasn't even aware of that, so I just learned that the other day because I'm
Correct.
working at an environmental event later today. So great time of year to have these things around Earth Day. And what's the date and time of your event?
April 30th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and there will be food. It'll be free food. So come on out and see Russet if you've never been to Russet, and get some free food and learn a few new things. And in regards to the tax credits, we're going to be showcasing what homeowners have done. So aside from just talking about it, we're going to show actual accomplishments. Russet did the Green Committee sponsored storm drain marking program about 4 years ago, where we got county permission and we marked all the storm drains about this drains to the bay, so people will think before they dump things into the drainage. We have a couple homes that have gone to photovoltaics, so we'll be showcasing those with homeowners with rain barrels and rain gardens. So we're showing people what is already done as an example for others to follow rather than just an idea. Because I think, green technology is intimidating to some folks, and other people really like the idea, but they're not sure how to do it. So when you can show them an example and they go look at their neighbor's home and see something, it makes it's the visual inspiration for them to try to do it themselves, because they can see that it's possible and it's already been done.
Great.
So
tell us again the exact location if people want to come. Do you have to live in Russett to come?
Oh, no, it's actually open to the public. We're advertising in the newspaper and on TV now. And we hope to pull people from the region because it's an event to showcase Russett to the entire area, because obviously we want people to move there and buy homes there and show that we're thinking about these sort of things as an enticement to get people to come and make our homes desirable.
So what's the address of the community center?
It's 3500 Russett Common, Laurel, Maryland, 20724. Again, right off of 198, where the Walmart and Sam's is. Maybe some people know where that is. There is a Kohl's, corridor is there. It's Route 198 in the Parkway.
Okay, so if people have specific questions and they want to talk to you, or do you have a website, or can they call, or what should they do?
They can call if they like. It's 301-498-3897. We have a Russett website called, it's russett.org. That's russett.org. And if you'd like to email the Green Committee, it's gogreen@russett.org.
Great. Thank you so much, Tim, for being here with me today.
You're welcome.
Tim Reyburn and Jody Letty, and happy Earth Day, everybody.
Thanks, Jody. There's so much going on in the Laurel area with base expansion and inter-county connector coming online. It's good to know we have active citizens there to keep us up to date on what we need to know.
There's more Week in Review to come. When we come back, we'll be sitting down with our new County Councilman, John Grasso, to discuss next year's county budget. Now take a look at the community calendar for what's happening around the county. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm County Executive John Leopold. Accidents caused by drunk driving can be prevented. Only you can make the difference. Drink responsibly and always buckle up.
On average, every month, 22 Marylanders die as a result of drunk driving crashes.
We don't want to be the designated driver for drunk driving crash victims.
But if you choose to drink and drive, we will find you and provide you with a free ride.
Make the right choice. Drive sober and always buckle up.
Designate a sober driver, or
we'll designate one for you.
And welcome back. Well, in our series of getting to know your county council representatives, we brought with us today Councilman John Grasso from the 2nd District. Councilman, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Erik. I appreciate it.
Welcome to the hot seat, by the way.
The hot seat.
I know you like being on the hot seat from time to time. The Capitol, Erik Hartley, called you the guy with a million ideas a couple weeks ago. You've developed a reputation as somebody who likes to think outside the box and get things done for Anne Arundel County residents. Tell us a little bit about how the first 4 or 5 months have went for you on the county council.
Oh, it's unbelievable. As most people know, I started my council position 3 weeks before I was actually the councilman. And it all started from the Glen Burnie landfill and talking to the employees of what's really going on. And soon to find out that, residents were coming in there, whether they were Anne Arundel County residents or other city or other counties coming in and actually stealing our assets. And the problem was that we didn't have a law in the place to say that we couldn't take it. So I spoke to management about it, and I said, look, we need a law in here that's going to handle this problem. I said, because we don't need the police coming here and arresting somebody, and then lo and behold, we're fitting with a lawsuit because it's an illegal arrest. That's just how it is. And putting that first bill in actually probably would have happened in less than 60 days, and it was actually the first bill for our council.
That's great.
Yep.
So what are some of your goals for your time on the council?
Oh boy, I got a whole lot of them. I got a whole lot of them. Actually, I got 1 million of them. Okay, one of the columnists for one of the newspapers, Erik called me the man with the million ideas. And when you read the article a little bit, you kind of you think out of it. Does he think you're a blowboater, or are you really going to get something done? Well, I'm determined to show him that I'm not the blowboater. And I called and left a voice message to him, and I said, "This is the man with the million ideas. Here's 1 million right now." And first bill passed in 60 days. I said, here's 999,000. And I said, now we got the Second Chance building opening up. And I said, and I'll keep you tuned on 998,000, 997,000. And I said, I'm going to make that million ideas come true.
Tell us a little bit about that Second Chance building. This is an issue you brought to the administration's attention, and we just kicked it off 2 weeks ago with the first establishment of it, and I think we had 30 or 40 people come through there and donate some items. You guys will be out there tomorrow,
correct?
Saturday,
correct,
to do the big grand kickoff for it.
The Second Chance building was just an answer to the public. Particularly, really, what it was an answer to is that when I went into the landfill to talk to them about the bill protecting the assets, I find it the best source of people to talk to is the actual employees of different departments. Because if you ever want to know the truth about something, go to the employees. They're the ones that have the ideas. If you want things sugar-coated, go to management, because they'll tell you that it's really not happening. So one of the employees come up to me, and he says to me, he goes, hey, John, he goes, here's something you can work on. How come when somebody brings something decent into the building, you just can't give it to them? And I said, what are you talking about? He says, you just can't give it to them. He goes, you got to take them outside the gate, outside the county thing, and swap it. And he goes, and by that time, the person doesn't want to wait, and before you know it, you're throwing something decent into the can. So I said to myself, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And myself, I believe in one man's junk's another man's treasure. I used to love going to the landfills, and if there was something decent, as a kid, I used to ride my bicycle in the Glen Burnie landfill. And during the weekends when they were closed, we were able to get our bicycles back there, and we used to get all kinds of bicycle parts and everything, and we used to have a blast. So I met with the couple representatives in Waste Management, and I talked to them about the idea. And one of the things that seemed to be a concern of the management was that it was a safety issue. And then I said, well, I don't think there's a real lot of safety involved in me taking an item from my truck to another truck. And then the other issue seemed to be was that they were worried about the service that we could provide for the constituent coming in. It's going to take too much time if everybody's dancing behind vehicles. So what I did is I just come up with the idea called the Second Chance building. And the Second Chance building was really a win-win for everybody. And the purpose of the Second Chance building was to allow someone that comes in with some decent product that maybe that they don't know where the Salvation Army is or the Red Cross, or maybe they just don't feel like riding all the way down there. Instead of that item coming into the landfill and being dumped in our can, and the number that I was getting was roughly about $500,000 per acre to dig the landfill. Instead of the item going in there, and these people know that's good, let's put a building up, or we already have the building, and let's just put that item right there. And then what it does is it's a win-win for everybody, because then the understanding I have is that we have several nonprofits that are manning the building now. And I would take it that when a person brings something, there will probably be a little receipt of taxable value that the person used for the taxes. So here's what we got. We got the person dropping it off as happy as anything, because they know in their heart that this is a good item that somebody can use. They're getting a little kick with a nice little thing for incentive for the taxes. The next person comes along and says, hey, maybe I just need a new lamp, or something that's decent looking, or maybe I got a family that's just starting out that wants to furnish their whole house. They go to our Second Chance building and they walk out of there for dirt cheap money and set up their whole apartment. And then the taxpayers win, because those items don't wind up into the landfill, which costs us $500,000 per acre to win. It's a win-win for everybody with this deal.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. I was just thinking myself where I was going to take some things. I've been doing some spring cleaning. So what are some of the biggest challenges that you've had?
during the campaign, I focused on four major issues in my campaign. One was the illegal immigration. That seemed to be a very, very big issue in my district. The second thing was creating jobs. Trying to reduce people's property taxes, which is really going to be virtually impossible at this point, because we're trying to come up with $20-some million that we're short right now. And one of the other things that I spoke to people about is actually cleaning the environment, or cleaning our waterways that actually are in our area, which is Marley Creek and Furnace Creek. I live on Marley Creek, and that to me is like a real pet peeve. Back in 1986, some folks probably might have remembered when I ran for the county executive Republican nomination. And I was just a chef for Fontainebleau. I was 24 years old, and I was just at that point where I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And $700 in my pocket and down to Annapolis to throw my name into the ringer. And, I went off on my little campaign. I never realized Anne Arundel County was as big as it was. And lo and behold, I'm up running against this. And unfortunately, I didn't make the nomination, and I lost by 19 votes. But the creek seemed to be a big issue. So they're actually the four major things that I'm on right now. There's a website that the first page is up. We just have the text. It's called Clean the Creeks of District 2. I also had some legislation brought to me from Colorado that the issues they are having with illegal immigration, that we're going to review and try to perhaps pass that in our county. That's another issue right there. So, and as far as like the job creations, I've spoken to the administration about several things of creating more enterprises within the county. One of the things that I'm thinking outside the box and bottling our own water, artesian well water by Anne Arundel County. I believe that's a big money maker to be made. I mean, if Sam's Club can sell those ugly looking water bottles and make millions of dollars, why can't we sell one with a pretty label on it? And when people buy the water, they're actually going to be supporting Anne Arundel County, and it'll be put through the same process that Sam's Club's been put through. We already have the distribution network. I believe we have 114 schools already in Anne Arundel County. All these schools have vending machines, so this would be an issue that all our bottled water will be available for the constituents that want to help. We already have the water truck. We already have the water. So I believe that if we get this enterprise up and running, this will also start creating some jobs for us. There's a lot of things, that we can go at, but that's where I'm at.
Well, Councilman, you've certainly made an impression on the Anne Arundel County Council. I think one citizen came up to me one time and said, John Grasso is not your ordinary councilman. How do you respond to that?
Well, the one thing that folks need to understand that I am not in here for the money. I think I've made it real clear that I've committed to give away 3 years of my salary back to Anne Arundel County. It's being done in 3 different areas. There's like 62 churches in our area. And these churches are basically helping people that had a decent job, had a home, economy hit them hard, and before you know it, they find themselves in a homeless center. So I'm committed to try to help those churches that are helping people that had everything and then lost everything. I'm not a big fan of people that try not to make anything out of their life. I'm not a handout type guy, but I will help someone that has ambition, that wants to make their life good. One of the other issues too, one of the other years of the money is I'm an animal lover. I love animals. I'm constantly rescuing animals. So the SPCA in Annapolis is going to get pretty much 1 year of councilman's salary. Clean the Creeks, the website, Clean the Creeks of District 2 is going to get that. So when a politician comes along, the first thing you start thinking of, never trust a man in a suit, and I don't mean to be in a suit here, folks, but first thing I say, what is their gain to try to get out of this? So I wanted to tell people, I don't like the word politician. Statesman sounds a lot better. Politician leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. So the only way I feel about it is that to prove that I'm not like everybody else, what's the first way to do it is to give the money back. Now I am keeping 1 year. I mean, that's a given. I think we get $36,000. I don't even know what I get paid because it doesn't mean anything to me at this point. What means to me is to make our county the best. So I am keeping 1 year to compensate myself for my own personal money that I drew on a charge card to run this campaign. And that right there should tell people my sincerity of what I'm doing right there.
Well, Councilman Grasso, thanks for joining us on the show. And please come back when you get down to idea number 3, 4, maybe even that idea number 1.
I will definitely be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, folks, we're going to go ahead and take a break. But when we come back, there'll be more Weekend Review. Stay with us.
There's a place not so far away. Ask your parents to take you. Come to the forest, where the other you lives. But first, stop by discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back, folks. In this week's Police Beat, detectives are on the lookout for a man in connection with a stabbing incident in Glen Burnie. Public Information Officer Justin Mulcahy joins us with the details. Justin.
Thanks, Erik. When officers arrived on scene, they located the 24-year-old female victim from Pasadena lying on the ground in front of the apartment building, bleeding from the upper extremity from apparent lacerations. The victim was transported, Priority 1, to Baltimore Washington Medical Center, where she was stabilized and then transferred to shock trauma for surgery. Numerous officers canvassed the area but were unable to locate the suspect. Now, preliminary investigation indicates that the victim and the suspect were possibly known to each other and that this was not a random act of violence. Through further investigation, detectives identified a suspect, that's Dwayne Howard, a.k.a. Doobie, age 30, of Old Stage Road, Apartment D in Glen Burnie. Howard is described as a black male, approximately 6 feet, 165 pounds. An arrest warrant has since been obtained, charging him with attempted first-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, along with reckless endangerment, first and second-degree assault. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is urged to contact the Anne Arundel County Police Department's Eastern District at phone numbers 410-222-6145. We're going to move on now to our second incident. That took place on April 19th, about 10:28 in the evening. That's when officers from the Western District responded to the 3300 block of Sudlersville South in Laurel for a report of an attempted robbery of a citizen. Officers arrived on scene, spoke with a 42-year-old male victim from Laurel who indicated that he was walking in the 3300 block of Sudlersville South. That's when an unknown male suspect approached him, displayed a stun gun, and demanded money. The victim refused to turn over his money to the suspect, and a physical altercation ensued. And during that struggle, the suspect repeatedly attempted to use the stun gun on the victim, who was able to fight the suspect off and yell for assistance. Witnesses responded to the area. That's when the suspect fled the area on foot. Several officers, along with the aid of the aviation unit and the canine unit, responded to the area to search for the suspect, but they were unable to locate him. That suspect is still on the loose, I should say, at this time. Now, no injuries were caused to the victim. The suspect is described as a black male, about 6 feet 2, 230 pounds, last seen wearing a black ski mask with one hole in the eye, also a black sweatshirt with a zipper, black pants, and black tennis shoes. Now, as always, if you have any information on any crimes or suspects mentioned on the show, don't hesitate to call, email, or text your tip to Metro Crime Stoppers hotline. That number is available 24 hours a day, toll-free at 1-866-7-LOCK-UP, or you can text message MCS plus your message to crimes at 274-637, or visit the website at www.metrocrimestoppers.net. Remember, folks, phone calls are not recorded. Callers remain anonymous, and you might be eligible for a cash reward of up to $2,000. Back to you, Eric.
Thanks, Justin. We hope that people will see the mugshot and pick up the phone if they know who this individual is.
Well, on a more serious note, we all know how important it is to plan ahead for the sake of kids and family members. Mary Felter talks this week with Pat Arnold about the importance of funeral planning. Mary?
Thank you, Karla. Today my guest is Pat Arnold, who is a mortician with a family-owned funeral home in Annapolis called Hardesty. And I'm happy to have Pat here to tell us about a program that's coming up in the next 2 weeks. Welcome to the program, Pat.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here, Mary.
We asked you to come to the program because you're going to be one of the speakers in The Future Is Now, Are You Ready series that the Department of Aging has been holding for the last 2 years. We've covered a variety of issues because the baby boomers are coming along and the senior citizens, so they're getting more of us in the county. And they're interested in a variety of issues, so we've addressed health care, dementia, caring for a loved one, and now we're talking about some of the end-of-life issues. And I understand you're going to be our speaker on funeral planning options. When is this program going to be held?
Well, I'm actually going to be joined by Ron Wade, who is the director of the anatomical division of the University of Maryland School of Medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Our program or talk is scheduled for May the 4th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Arnold Senior Activity Center, which is located in Arnold, Maryland, next to the Safeway store,
Mm-hmm.
just off of Ritchie Highway.
Mm-hmm. And what are you going to be covering in this program? You are going to be saying something about the emotional event and what people need to do to help handle it, correct?
Well, yes. We'll be talking about funeral planning, whether you're arranging a funeral of a loved one or perhaps pre-planning your own funeral. There are a lot of options available, and all the information that you're trying to sort through can seem perhaps overwhelming at that time, and hopefully we'll give you some guidance in that.
I understand that you're going to talk about what the options are from the least expensive to the most expensive. People can donate their body. What are some of the choices people have?
Well, there are many options that are available, and Ron and I will talk about those options from the least expensive to the most expensive. Least expensive could be perhaps a donation to medical science, which often is free, or it could be a traditional or formal funeral, which could cost an upwards of $10,000 or so. Whatever option you choose is often dictated by various factors, your religious background, your ethnic culture, perhaps the budget that is available to you.
That's true.
Or perhaps the wishes and desires of the deceased that they shared with you prior to their passing.
And I understand that people can donate their body if they can talk to the State Anatomical Board. There's a website that they can get some answers onto?
There is a website through the state that has a lot of questions and answers. Ron does head up that department. You can donate your body to, again, the state of Maryland. There are some regulations involved, so this information is out there. Even if you do not have access to a computer, you could contact them via the telephone, and they would be happy to share information with you that's available.
And you can also get information from a funeral home, because if you have a direct cremation and the body's taken care of right away, a funeral home can help you with that?
Absolutely. Cremation is very popular in 2011 for various reasons. There are many firms that will handle a direct cremation other than a funeral home, perhaps at a lower cost. There are several funeral homes here in the Annapolis area, or actually throughout the Anne Arundel County, that offer direct cremation services, and they will be happy to discuss that with you. Now, direct cremation, when I use that term, I mean that once a person passes, we transfer them into our care and then handle the cremation. Following that, a family may opt to have a memorial service or some other type of celebration of life or meaningful service after that.
Some people may want to use the casket, though, instead of just having direct cremation. Tell me a little bit about the kinds of caskets that are out there. Well,
there are caskets that are made from simple metals, as well as some that are made from fine woods or other precious metals, be it bronze or copper. There's a lot of options to choose. Once you decide on the type of service you want, if you opt for a casketed burial, then you'll need to decide where you would want to have the casket placed, either in perhaps a commercial cemetery or a cemetery that's affiliated with your church. Often churches have crypts that are available now. Or you could utilize, if you are a veteran or a military family, one of the veteran cemeteries here in Maryland. We have an excellent program for Maryland veterans as well as retirees that can supply the space as well as save you some money in the long run.
I also understand there's something called green burial. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
There are some states which offer or suggesting green burial. Everything seems to be trying to go green now. So they offer burials without caskets. So there's quite a different options that are coming available in that arena.
And I unfortunately have to tell you, we don't have time to discuss all those options because there are so many of them and all the regulations that you do have to follow. I've looked at some of this on the internet to try and get a little bit more informed. It's incredible the amount of details that you have to go through, and of course you're trying to do some of this when people are going through a very emotional time. Tell me again, what is the date of the workshop?
It is May the 4th, from Wednesday, May the 4th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., again at the Arnold Senior Activity Center there in Arnold off Ritchie Highway. And there's a lot of information that families need to take in at the death of a loved one. It's a very difficult time, and it's hard to absorb it all.
Exactly.
But hopefully, if you're able to attend this, you'll be able to walk away and have a little clearer understanding of information that's available, make an informed decision. It's an eventuality that we will all face.
Absolutely.
None of us are immune, so hopefully it will benefit you to attend.
Well, I do want to let our listeners and viewers know that this is a free event that the Department of Aging is presenting, and we invite people to come. We want you to register for it, and you can do that by two ways. You can go online to www.aacounty.org/aging and scroll down to the section which has the information, or you can call us at 410-222-4464, extension 3094. Thanks, Pat, very much for coming in today. We appreciate your letting people know about the workshop and the series. The future is now. Are you ready?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
This is Mary Felter from the Anne Arundel County Department of Aging and Disabilities, and this has been part of Anne Arundel Week in Review. Back to you, Karla.
Thanks, Mary. None of us want to think about our own mortality, but it's important to plan these things so your family knows your wishes and they don't have to deal with additional grief.
Well, Karla, it's a good weekend coming up here.
It is a good weekend.
Sunny. It's Easter weekend for those of you that, for those of us that celebrate Easter.
And Earth Day.
Earth Day today. Yeah. What did you do for Earth Day? Did you go out and plant a tree?
I didn't.
No.
No.
Okay.
Not this year.
That's all right.
But I have
Maybe
in the
another
past.
Year. Maybe another
down
year.
at Kinder Farm Park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But the Easter Bunny's coming. My kids are all excited. They're talking about the Easter Bunny's going to hide eggs in the backyard, and they're going to get all these presents, and yeah.
Have they been practicing? I know I used to practice sometimes.
They did it with their daycare once.
Okay.
We had one last weekend at a friend's house.
So they're ready.
So they're ready to go. They're just waiting for that Easter Bunny to hop on down the line.
Any big plans for the weekend?
No, just spending time with family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be good.
Yes.
You going out of town, staying in town?
No, staying in town.
Good.
I have, my parents are coming in,
Good.
so spend a little time with them. We have both a Jewish and a Christian household, so we have Passover and Easter at this time, so a lot of food, a lot of family.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much the plan for the weekend.
That's a great plan, and
Yeah.
happy holidays to all of you out there. And in some good sports news, good day sports fans, the ladies lacrosse world lit up the scoreboard this week with the big private school game featuring the Severn ladies taking on the Cavaliers from Spalding. Both squads have struggled at times this season. However, when these ladies take the field, you know it'll be a good game. Rachel Knock and Kelly Reese started off hot for Severn with 2 goals apiece in the first 5 minutes. With nearly 12 minutes gone in the first, it looked as if it would be a blowout. But then the Spalding offense woke up as Jessica Mucci scored twice. By half, the score was close, with Severn ahead 8-6. The second half was more back and forth, but Severn was just too strong as they went on to pick up the victory 17-13. Elsewhere on the ladies' side, Chesapeake beats Arundel thanks to Aaron Tenson's 6-goal night, 17-13. Annapolis has no problem with North County winning 18-3, and Southern also scores 18 times to beat Northeast 18-4. Well, on the ball diamond, it was the boys of South River taking on an always tough Severna Park squad last week. The Seahawks' Scott Mitchell was just good enough on the mound, only allowing 6 hits and 3 runs to pitch a complete game. South River got all of their runs in the third when a costly Severna Park error and good South River base running allowed the Seahawks to score 5 times. South River went on to a 5-3 victory, moving to 9-3 on the season. And finally in baseball, Annapolis Area Christian School was also on the winning end as they beat out St. Mary's. Congratulations to the Eagles. Well, in this week's Recreation and Park Spotlight, Colleen Josephson and Carolyn Ryan join us together to talk about life-saving CPR classes. Ladies.
Hello, we're at the Department of Recreation and Parks, and I'm with Carolyn Ryan, Recreation Specialist. We're going to talk about CPR and first aid classes. Last year, the Department of Recreation and Parks started offering classes to the general public. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Carolyn?
Sure. In the past, a lot of the local fire departments held classes for the public, and over the years they've kind of phased that out. So we saw that there was a need, so we have started, we kind of did it on a trial basis last fall, and it has really taken off. People are really interested in the classes, so we've been offering them to the general public since then.
And how many classes are you offering?
We offer, there are 2 separate classes. There is a CPR, basically a CPR only class, and that also gives you the AED skills, which is the automated external defibrillator. And then we have a combination CPR and first aid class. So the CPR only classes are offered at our South County Recreation Center once a month. And then once a month we have a class that is the combination class at both of our swim centers, the Arundel Olympic Swim Center and the North Arundel Aquatic Center. So there are basically 3 choices each month that you can take these classes.
What are the ages of the people taking the CPR and first aid classes?
We offer the classes to anyone ages 16 and up, and it gives you a 2-year certification in CPR with the AED skills, and it gives you a 3-year certification in first aid. And those are actually through ASHI, which is the American Safety and Health Institute.
Carolyn, can you tell the viewers how they can get more information about these classes?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, www.aacounty.org/recparks. And if you click on the program guide icon, then you can actually look for adult programs, and all of the first aid and CPR workshops are located there. They can also call our office, 410-222-7313.
Can they call the locations where they're being held?
They can, and they can register there. They can register online. You can register actually at the South County Rec Center or either one of the swim centers, or they can register here in our office in Annapolis, or they can just give us a call if they have questions.
Well, Carolyn, that's great information on how to get CPR and first aid training, so thank you very much. And back to you in the studio.
That is such an important skill to learn. Karla, do you know CPR? Have you ever been trained in CPR?
I have. I was a lifeguard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. We talked about that.
So that's, yeah, it's, unfortunately, I'm not current on it right now, but I did have to, brush up every year, I think, to keep my certification.
That's correct. So. Yeah, when I was in the military as a police officer, they trained us on CPR, and it was, again, I haven't brushed up on it, but I still remember head tilt, chin lift, and I think I could do it if I was.
Maybe we should attend those classes.
Maybe we should. Maybe we should. Well, there was one of the stories Mary Felter did, the funeral preparation story. I just wanted to, pass along from all of us at We Can Review our heartfelt sympathies to the former governor, William Donald Schaffer, that passed away earlier this week. He's a guy that I grew up with. You were in Michigan, you didn't really grow up with him. But you'd see this bigger than life figure, and he lived in Anne Arundel County for a long time. He was, you'd see him out in the community in Pasadena from time to time. Just a very nice, fun, smart. So many words to describe him.
Yeah, even as a Michigander, I think he was, kind of a legendary figure, and everyone who has spent a great amount of time in the state knows what an impact he's had. Especially in Baltimore City and all of the programs that he had there. So
lived a good life, 90 years old.
Can't ask for more than that. Yeah.
That's right. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Week in Review. You can watch this episode online anytime at www.aacounty.org. Archive episodes are available at blip.tv and now YouTube. You can also subscribe to the free video podcast at iTunes. Please join us again next week for more highlights and news from around your county. We'll see you next time.